It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielson and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
All right, 12:03 on a game day. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. If you are listening live on TuneIn or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, feel free to hit us up at 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Your thoughts on the road trip thus far. Can they salvage it the rest of the way? Expectations for the game tonight against Carolina, and your thoughts in general on where this team is at right now. 780-218-9999. And, of course, you can hit us up in the nasty chat as well. Already kind of moving along. VR Montenegro says, let's have a clean show, boys. No injuries. Who do you think is the first person to legitimately injure themselves here at Edmonton Sports Talk? Maddie, you think it's you, or do you have your hand up to say it's somebody else? You. Why do you think you're going to get hurt, buddy? You're going to get electrocuted or something? You already got hurt?
He's got an injury.
That's not
it
from
has
here.
to be sustained here.
The last thing HR Daddy needs is like a workman compensation board claim.
We don't need
that. I don't think we want that.
No, we don't.
That being said, we are part of like the WCB thing, so it would be taken care of. I think. I don't know how that works.
That's a good thing that we're under that umbrella.
Yeah, I think it's under some sort of umbrella there. So,
yeah,
that's good. That's good. Well, hopefully
but he's got a bad wing.
Hopefully, well, I know he's got a bad wing, but that's not from working here. Leave that open, Matt. He's getting too hot in here.
It's toasty.
Can you leave it open a little bit? Yeah, it's toasty in here, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, we're a couple sweater boys, but pretty toasty in here. That is for sure. All right, so the Edmonton Oilers get the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. We're going to dive into this one. And, hey, if you're watching right now on your lunch hour, why not bail out of work a little bit early and join us today? Tommy, you got the pregame show 3:30. Cass is joining you pre and post. Going to be at Boston Pizza.
Cass is going to be there.
I saw Gager say, I'll see you guys soon.
Belsey, too, actually.
Really? Oh,
yes,
the whole
like
crew's going to be there. Oh, that's going to be awesome. So 3:30 pregame. And we'll sit around and watch the game. I said earlier I got to sneak away. Marshall's got power skating just up in Castle Downs. But I should be back early first period. By the time I get back, they'll be up 2-0, and then I'll be there in time to watch the collapse. So that'll be a fun one as well. But Tommy and Cass will have that pregame rolling for you at 3:30, and lots of good deals at Boston Pizza. Obviously on game day for all Oilers games, not just the ones we are at. You can get $5 pizzas, not $5 pizzas, but $5 off medium pizzas.
Yes.
$1 off tankards of Canadian or Coors Light. I haven't had a good tankard of Canadian or Coors in a long time.
Well, tonight's the night, my friend.
Maybe. I'm usually a Belgian Moon guy, right? A Blue Moon
they
guy.
have that
They have that there. So I'm always like, I'll have that. $5.50 shots of Fireball, Jaeger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack. If Ryan McLeod scores tonight, I will buy a round of Fireball for anybody who wants one at Boston Pizza. I'm locking that in right now.
Shots tonight.
I am that confident that he is not going to score that I will buy a round of Fireballs for everybody if he does. It's like Jackie Moon and the Corn Dogs, right? When Duke hits the shot, Jackie. Like,
corn dogs.
We don't even have corn dogs. So
corn
good.
Dogs, corn dogs.
All right, so you can hit us up anytime. Hey, if you want to place a little wager on the game tonight, you can do that with our partners over at CoolBet. It's already up. We do have an EST. I got this double mouse system here. They're both wireless. They're both about the same size, so it's messing with me a little bit.
They're
but we'll
very
be all right.
similar looking.
If you go to, this one doesn't look as fancy, so that's my backup one for that monitor. This one's a little bit fancier, so it's for this computer. But this computer's touchscreen anyway, so I guess, I don't know. I probably don't need them all. But if you want to get on the Oilers tonight and you want to have some fun and maybe they win, plus 385 tonight for the Oilers to win, McDavid 2 points or more, and a Hyman point as well. So you got that going for you. Bender's Pancake says that is a safe bet, Dusty. The McLeod thing. It really, I mean, it's not like I'm going out on a limb here.
He's going to get a hat trick
by any
tonight.
stretch of the imagination. If Ryan McLeod gets a hat trick tonight, Tommy, I will give you $200 cash.
For what?
If he doesn't, you give me $2.
Oh, okay.
Want to do that? Want to make that a bet tonight? All right, there you go. McLeod's not getting a hat trick. McLeod might not score 3 goals all year.
The way it's going.
Like somebody said, we should name the little fly that's in the studio here after him because all he does is buzz around and do nothing, which is the truth. He's a non-factor. If they could trade Ryan McLeod in a draft pick right now for a center that had any sort of gumption to his game or could at least defend extremely well, I would pull the trigger on that immediately.
Gumption. Great
Right,
term.
how about that gumption?
Ryan McLeod, I'll have you know, did get a point last game.
Cool. He got one.
He got one. I think it was his third of the year, if I remember correctly.
Lighten it up.
1, 2, third point of the year. 3 assists.
Once again,
17 games.
Non-factor. But yeah, you can ride with us over at coolbet, coolbet.com. If you've not yet signed for an account, use the code LOCKSHOP when you do, and you get a 100% deposit bonus on your initial deposit up to 200 smackaroos. And like I said, we will be at Boston Pizza tonight. You can swing on by and join us there as well. Tommy, let's start with talking about this road trip a little bit.
Yeah.
0-2 so far. Critical road. We've been saying this all season. This is critical. This is critical here. They got to have this. They got to have this. We've been saying it about this road trip, and they play well for stretches, but then it's just the same thing over and over where these critical mistakes end up in the back of your net, man. It's ridiculous that we're saying the same thing over and over and over. It doesn't matter if the coach was Woodcroft or Knobloch. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed with the group.
No, it hasn't. I think the way I described the atmosphere, vibe, mood, whatever you want to call it, after the post game the other night was there was definitely some anger, no question, and there will be as there should be
from the fans,
okay. From our viewers, from our listeners, all the people that chime in and come in and watch and listen to us pick the team apart because that's how bad they are on a nightly basis. And anger, I feel like we saw a bit the other night on the post game show. Has started, for some, not all, has started to become acceptance. And that's where you get apathy. That's the start of apathy. And we shouldn't be talking about this 17 games in. But you talk about how this team has gotten to this point and created this mood with the fan base. And it is by teasing you with a good start, by getting you leads against good teams. And then you don't even question. You know it's going to get chipped away at, melted away, because you don't have faith in this group to defend. They don't defend well. Their second and third periods are terrible. Their first periods are good. They were a good third period team last year. That's gone. They barely score in the third period. They barely score in the second period. This team's game falls apart as the game wears on. Now, if you said to me a year ago, the Oilers are going to be a good first period team next year, I'd be like, that's great. That's great. They should be at the top of the standings if that's the case.
That'll take care of everything.
Right, because they were such a bad starting team in the last couple of years, but then they would wake up, or they'd go nuclear with McDavid and Draisaitl, and they'd clean things up, and they'd salvage a win, or they'd salvage a point, and it led to a couple of second-place finishes in the Pacific Division. This year, they don't get that. They don't get that. You know what they do? They give away more.
Yeah.
Here, other team, have more opportunities. Yeah,
here, other team.
have some more. Oh, you like great scoring chances? I've got another one dialed up for you.
You're going to love playing against us.
Just lightly forecheck me, and I'm going to smack this puck into the slot, and your teammate's going to bang it home or go backdoor tap into your other teammate, because that's what we do. And, listen, I'm bringing this close to home. Hernan texted me last night.
I talked to Hernan today about some other work stuff.
Yeah.
But, what a beauty.
Yeah, he is a beauty. That's why we love him,
Yeah.
the Latino heat. So he texted me yesterday, and he sent me a clip of, I think it was the fourth goal that Florida scored, and he just wrote, "Watch Bouchard." And I was like, okay. And he's like, he goes behind the net with the puck, and then a soft backhand right to the Panther, 1 pass, 2 pass goal. And I was like, yeah, man, we talk about that every game.
Exactly.
But, Hernan was still so upset by it that he sent me the video.
How can you still be – poor Hernan.
Yeah.
Because how can you still be upset by Bouchard errors and miscues defensively?
Well, because you come to expect it, and then it happens, and you're like, didn't they know? And the answer is probably yes. Why don't they do anything about it? They benched Desharnais basically for the third period last game. And they keep rolling Bouchard out there, and it's just like rolling the dice every time at this point in the season. Is he capable of better? Yes. Has he shown us that in his career? Yeah. Has he done it at all this year? No.
If they had any sort of depth on the right side, do you think they would protect Bouchard, both Button and Gager yesterday, were on him and talked about, making him almost a power play specialist and protecting him on the third pair. And then Noodles today came on the Nielson show and, at one point had to be like, I know it sounds like I'm really sort of kicking Bouchard in the nuts here, but what are you supposed to do? You're going to play Desharnais or Broberg more by burying Bouchard a little bit? And I know what they've done with the defense today, and we're going to get to the line combinations, which is, I'm not too sure how it works, to be honest with you, but we'll get to that. Tony had tweeted those out a little bit earlier on, so we'll get to those today. But Tommy, it's like I feel like if they had another veteran right shot guy, and I'm not talking Tyson Barrie because I know that they kind of did the same thing as far as being but I'm talking like a stable, reliable right shot D-man. YouTube Trev brought up like if they had Adam Larson still, and you could run Larson and CC and Bouchard on your third pair and not put him out in defensive zone situations and just have him on the power play as an absolute assassin and then allow him to get some really soft matchups that would maybe allow him to settle in defensively. Bouchard is, and I know there's like an analytical crowd that is loving even like his expect and all this stuff. I get it.
He became an offensive star, I believe, a couple of days ago.
But he is an offensive star.
He is.
But he's a defensive nightmare. Train wreck. And it's like maybe he doesn't give up like a number of opportunities because he's usually out there with offensive guys and they're trying to push the puck the other way. But Bouchard's errors and miscues have led to more goals against than anybody else on this team this season, and it can't even be close. So how do you protect him better? Like, he should not be rolled out 22 minutes a night.
No.
It's killing you.
Well, it's kind of sad that he, at this point in his career, he's gotten to that 200 game threshold. We hear 200 to 300 games is where a defenseman really finds themselves. What we find with him is that he's unreliable in his own zone, and then he can still get the offense. Absolutely. To have a Adam Larson
not
would be
even
a perfect
guy at the
world.
Level of Larson.
No, I know.
Somebody.
I know. That would be a perfect world scenario. And then the final thing I'll say about this, he's gotten to this 200-game threshold now, still having the struggles that he had going into game number 100 of his career. And the whole expectation was that now, at this point, he was supposed to be able to give you steady minutes in his own zone and not make the egregious giveaway or hear footsteps. And the one thing that's happening is he has not found that yet consistently, because he has done. I thought he was good in the stretch drive. I thought he was good in the postseason 2 years ago, but it's fleeting. It goes away at the start of the year. It's almost like his year doesn't really start until like February, and that's a mental thing. I think we've seen it. This is going to be the third year in a row where he's having a shaky start. Then he cleans it up in the spring.
Well, why is that? This text is in and says, I'm still unreasonably upset that Bouchard looks uninterested. I know this is probably what he is and what he will be, but he looks like the second coming of Justin Schultz, and that is not what the Oilers need. Well, they could use that if they had somebody not named Kulak going on to the right. And I like Kulak.
He's been very consistent.
Bumping him up, like, what are you doing with CC, Desharnais, and Broberg in your bottom pairing? How's that supposed to work?
I don't know.
I logistically don't know how that works unless you're going to play Broberg all the minutes or play CC on the other side. I guess that's what could end up happening. I don't know what they're doing back there.
It may be a case where they've gotten to a certain point now where they're just trying anything. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this is a good stopgap. Let's see if maybe they game plan for the Hurricanes, who are a pretty steady team, and hit you with three lines. Let's see if we can try something different and try to shelter the bottom three guys. And maybe that's why CeCe's in the bottom three. He's been consistent this year. He hasn't been great, but he's been consistent. Desharnais has not had a good season. And Broberg, I don't know. Someone texted into the Nasty Chat saying that he's a bust. I don't want to say that he's a bust, but he's struggling to gain his foothold. That's tough.
We were asked this morning, what type of trade value would Broberg have right now?
Not a lot.
Like, could you tell me why a team would watch Broberg and be like, we're going to give up anything of substance for him right now?
You know,
I don't know what that answer would be.
Okay, fair, and I don't think that they would. Broberg is starting to go down the Ole Uolevi route. Remember Ole Uolevi?
Yeah.
I don't want it to go that way, but it's starting to lean that way. Remember Uolevi, what was he, like third or fourth overall?
He was
fifth.
He was fifth.
Mm-hmm. Made the team pretty early in his career. Struggled. Time in the AHL. Struggled. I think he's bounced around in the last year or two, but yeah, they've been waiting for him. And Vancouver waited for Uolevi, and it never popped.
Yeah, you can't declare bust yet with Broberg, but if you had to say which way is it leaning,
that's what I'm saying.
You'd be on a lean to the bust side.
It's becoming like Ole Uolevi, and it doesn't end well in the Ole Uolevi story with the Vancouver Canucks.
If they could use Broberg in a deal to move out some salary and bring in a right shot D-man, pull the trigger on that immediately.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, that's where it's at with Broberg.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
But when you ask about his value, other teams are scouting him and going, it's not there yet. He's not even an everyday NHLer.
Well, that's why, yeah, it's not like they're like, okay, well, he can play. He can play in the NHL. It's not like other teams will be looking at that. Because that hasn't been proven yet.
Ron Nicole says, Kulak showcase. No, they need him. They need him, Ron.
I do appreciate you really thinking like this is a Kulak showcase tonight.
No.
That would be amazing. Kulak will be better defensively than CC has, and he's certainly better than what Bouchard has been so far. So let's get into this tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. Here's what they're rolling with. Stuart Skinner is going to start. This is from the morning skate today, according to Tony Brar with Oilers TV. And we're talking blue line, so let's just start on the blue line here. Mm-hmm. Nurse and Kulak, Ekholm and Bouchard, and then Broberg, Desharnais, and CC rotating in on the bottom pair.
Yeah.
So, Nurse Kulak, I mean, should be relatively steady, I would think.
I'm assuming that is the plan for them, is to be steady. And Nurse has been better lately. He's been better lately. He hasn't been perfect, don't get me wrong. He has not been worth 9.25. That's beside the point. He's been better lately.
It's interesting because if you're okay playing Kulak on the right side, I guess what happens here is, I was just going to say, like, if you want to protect Bouchard, you could play Kulak on the right side with Ekholm, and you could leave CC with Nurse, but then you have a third pair that you can't put on the ice defensively in Desharnais, Bouchard, and Broberg. Like, whoever that is, you can't play those guys.
No.
Like, you couldn't.
It's a disaster.
So you can't, like, they're a D-man short here.
Basically.
That's what it looks like.
Yes.
They need another Ekholm trade. Essentially.
Well, we've known that. They wanted to get in another defenseman. In the offseason, they were saying they need another defenseman. They're a defenseman away. It's pretty obvious. More glaring today when they stack up Kulak and move him to the right side.
Yeah, so what...
I don't know what the strategy
How
is.
do they distribute Desharnais, CC, and Broberg's ice time?
What?
Is CC play on the left side tonight, or do you play Broberg on the left side? Or is it going to be one of these gross things where it's like whoever comes out, go play left side now, CC. Oh, now Broberg's out, so CC play right side. Broberg play left side.
I'm wondering if they're going to roll out mostly
Broberg and CC? Desharnais and CC?
I wonder if they rotate Desharnais with Bouchard. Would you feel better about that?
I don't even know, man.
I don't know. I'm throwing things at the wall.
I don't know, man.
Like Broberg and CC. Broberg had a few moments where he jumped in, took the puck, but he wasn't great defensively. I don't know.
Not sure what's going to happen with the blue line tonight. It could be a heavy, heavy night for Nurse, Kulak, and Ekholm and Bouchard, I guess. Stuart Skinner back in between the pipes. And then up front, interesting here as well, McDavid between Draisaitl and Fogle. Nuge with Hyman and Kane still together. McLeod with Ryan. Matthias Janmark is set to return as well. And then at the skate this morning, it was Adam Ernie, Gagne, Hamblin, and Brown rotating on the fourth line. The bottom 6 for the Oilers simply ain't going to cut it. But what do you make of that group? What do you think of Fogle getting bumped up with McDavid and Draisaitl?
Fogel's been consistent. He's been consistent.
He is -9, though.
He doesn't put up many points. He skates hard.
His effort's consistent. I thought it was a lot better than the -9 that he's rolling out right now.
How many pluses are on this team right now?
None, basically.
Yeah,
very few.
I believe Sam Gagner, as of like a week ago, was the only plus player, and he'd only played 3 or 4 games at that point. I'm looking at the lineup right now. There are 2 plus players on the 3, if you include James Hamblin. Cody Ceci and Derek Ryan are your plus players with James Hamblin. For Fogle, I don't know. I think maybe they value his hustle. It's been consistent.
He can get on pucks a bit.
He does get on pucks. He gets chances. He doesn't really bury them.
He does get a lot of chances, but he's just got no finish.
There's no finish there. He'll get his 30 points this year. Right?
Yeah, he'll get somewhere between 27 and 32 points.
They're just, I don't know, man. I'm looking at this lineup. What are you guys doing? What is the rationale here?
Okay, so let's just come up with this because somebody brought this up. And, hey, if you want to watch the game with our whole EST crew today, swing by Boston Pizza, the Kingsway Boston Pizza location, which is the very location that YouTube Trev came up to Tommy and I in January. I don't know if we've ever told the YouTube Trev story on the Oil Stream. Like, we did mention it, I guess, when he came up to us. But, like, it was last January, YouTube Trev was a bartender at the Kingsway Boston Pizza.
Yeah.
We were doing an Oil Stream during the lunch hour, I think, back then.
Yeah, and that's when it was still a podcast before we turned it into a full-length show.
And YouTube Trev comes up to us, had a sick stash. It was like full-blown 1920s, like curled stash.
Yeah, that's right.
Comes up to us and it's just like, hey, guys, I just want to let you know that I only got on shift today because I knew you guys were going to be here. I want to come up and meet you guys because he's like, Tommy, I grew up watching you on Oilers TV, and Dusty, I love your show, and I went to Lethbridge College just like you, and I'm from Pincher Creek. And I was like, well, what are you doing up here?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I love the Oilers, and I have a YouTube channel, so I decided to move up here and try to make a run at it. And I remember that day because I was just like, man, one day if we ever get canned, that would be a good kid to hire us. And yeah, so like, this is a good example of like
hustle.
Reach out and take a shot, man.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I said to you after we talked to him, I'm like, that kid's like, he's got good demeanor. Like, we should keep in touch with him. And you had gotten his number.
Yeah, I said, here's my number. Text me, and we'll stay in touch. And then I brought him by the radio station once. Yeah, kind of sat in, got him to meet the guys. We just didn't have. I mean, they were on the verge of killing all of the jobs at the radio station, so why would they have hired another one at that time, right? Yeah. So, but he got to meet a couple of the guys, and then when we got blown out, we're kind of figuring out exactly what we're going to do. And I think I told you guys, I said, well, there's this YouTube Trevor kid.
I was like, oh, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, and so he ended up being our first hire, and he's fit in extremely well. Great. But if he wouldn't have got on to shift at Boston Pizza that day because he knew we were there, I mean, we might not have met him at the Kingsway Boston Pizza.
We would not have met him.
And he might not be working with us right now. So go after jobs that you want because it worked out. Worked out for you too, Trev. And now he'll be on the pre- and post game with you. Yeah. And he's excited to come back to the Kingsway Boston Pizza. So after pregame, he's going to pop over for a bit.
He's got a couple of some of the girls that work there.
Yeah.
He's fond of.
Yeah.
And now he gets to come back as
as a big
YouTube
wheel,
Trev.
right? So it's kind of cool.
And I was like,
actually.
Be nice.
It's a fun story.
Make sure you say hi to everybody.
Yeah.
And then tell them how much fun you're having at Edmonton Sports Talk.
It is a cool story, and he's fit in really well. He's done really good. He's been in on the mornings now with us and stuff, and he's doing a great job.
With that mustache, he looks like Super Mario.
Okay, so this question was sent in when Knobloch, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like forever ago now, but it was only 4 games ago. But the very first game, when he started as head coach, McDavid and Draisaitl were apart.
Yes.
But partway through that game, I think he put it back together for just a little bit.
Because there were some penalties in the second period, I think.
That's how it kind of got.
Yeah.
So where are we at now? 4 games in, 5 games in now. This will be the 5th one. McDavid and Draisaitl together again. Has not really worked anywhere close to McDavid's a point per game guy right now. It's just like 60% of where he should be at. Your thoughts on just keeping that together is because you see something from Nuge, Hyman, and Kane So you just want to leave those guys together? Is
I
that
don't know.
what this is?
Kane missed a bunch of time. I know he took that 10-minute penalty, and I think he got sat a few.
I think he got sat a little bit at the end of the first, wasn't it? Like,
I mean, Chris Knobloch, Jay Woodcroft interchanged them. I think Chris Knobloch is realizing the shit sandwich that Jay Woodcroft was trying to scarf down. To put it lightly.
It's true, and you can get $5 off one tonight at Boston Pizza.
Substitute fecal matter for something delicious, though.
Yeah. But it's probably what he's realizing here.
Seriously.
Like right now, Knobloch is 5 games in, and he's like, damn it, I'm going to play Fogle with McDavid and Draisaitl tonight.
That's where we're at.
You know, like it's rather remarkable. What do you think? Like, do they go 11-7 again tonight, or do they roll out an actual fourth line that they probably won't play anyway? Ernie, Gagne, Hamblin, and Brown. So Brown's like up, and then he's down. I think he'll be in if they do run 11-7 tonight. Okay, first of all, let's play this game. If they don't run 11-7, who's the odd man out?
On forward?
No, on the blue line.
On blue line.
If they go with 6, Broberg?
I'm going to guess, I would guess Vinny Desharnais in this
and then
case.
CC and Broberg together.
Yeah, you're probably going to need, because you're probably going to need guys who can skate better.
Yeah.
Because the forwards that the
Carolina's going to bring it. They're going to bring it to you, yeah.
They're quick. They move the puck really well in the offensive zone. They're dogged. They're not the biggest and strongest, but like they're quick, they're smart, and they do get in there. So I think you're going to need quick feet. So I would think that would be something that goes against Vinny Desharnais. So if they are going to go 12-6, I think Desharnais comes out. Now the problem is, like, if Bouchard has another stinker, what do you do?
You're just going to have to ride it out at that point.
Oh, yeah,
right? Like,
I guess so. And then,
if Bouchard has a stinker, what you do is you put CC back with Nurse, Kulak plays with Ekholm, and Bouchard and Broberg are just stuck to the bench.
Yeah.
If you get to that situation, like if it's a tight hockey game and Bouchard's been on the ice for a goal against and it's a 2-2 game or something like that, then I guess that's probably what you would do in that situation. Yeah. So if you do go 6, then you've got Ernie, Gagne, Hamblin, and Brown. Would it be Hamblin, Ernie, and Brown in, and Gagne is the odd man out here?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Chris Knobloch has a lot of time for Sam Gagne.
Yeah, but how would you have time for some of these other guys instead?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know. I really don't. I would have Gagne playing. I would have Sam Gagne in.
Yeah, I think I'd have Gagne in the lineup too, man. Like, I'd probably I'd have him in over Ernie.
Yes.
Gagne, Brown, and
Hamblin.
And I guess.
Hamblin at least tries. Like, he gives you everything he's got. Ernie
there's an honest effort there.
Yeah. Ernie, in a game like tonight where I don't think you need physical play or an agitator of any type, I don't think there's much use for Adam Ernie tonight in this circumstance.
Mark is in and in the nasty chat says Gagne needs to play, has more balls than McLeod and Bouchard, and everybody's in there saying we agree on that front. Guys, so if they're a D-man short and the bottom 3 guys are not looking good, now would be the time to send one of Broberg or Vinny to Bakersfield and call up Gleason. They have nothing to lose at this point, and you can't make it worse. That's in from Big Dave.
Big Dave's right.
Gleason was one of their better players in the preseason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He moved himself ahead of Marcus Niemelainen on the pecking order. I have nothing against bringing up Ben Gleason.
He looks significantly better than anything we've seen from Broberg so far.
Yes.
Now, it was preseason, but that's what you do preseason. You look at a guy and go, man, maybe at some point he could play.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if they're trying to really test out Philip Broberg to see what they have and give him an opportunity before they make a decision on, do we trade this guy? Do we send him down? That might be what's happening here, or is the plan to eventually get Gleason? I don't know. I don't know. In terms of his overall play, he can't be much worse than what they've been getting from their bottom 6.
It's impossible.
Pairing guys on defense.
It's impossible to be worse.
No, exactly.
Right? Like, so, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens at some point. D's in and says, Gagne is in no matter what, in my opinion. Chris says, Gagne can take face-offs, and if you're only playing 8 minutes, he's perfect for that amount of time. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could just throw Hamblin on the wing, put Sam down the middle on a fourth line, and run Connor Brown on the right side.
Yeah.
Like if you really, on a fourth line, probably wouldn't matter too much.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game tonight against Carolina. One more time, if you'd like to join us at Boston Pizza, $5 off medium pizzas, $1 off tankers of Canadian or Coors Light, and 550 shots of Fireball, Jaeger, Burt Reynolds, Purple Rain, and Honey Jack. And, we'll see how that sorts itself out.
Let's go to
for tonight.
Nasty chat really quickly here, Dusty. Mo Jaber, I think Mo probably coming out today for the pre and post game. Hey, Mo. Hot take, Tommy and Dusty. The Knobloch hire is similar to the Aikens fire. Knobloch is being set up to fail. I honestly don't believe that. Aikens was supposed to be like the second coming of the new generation and wave of NHL coaches, and that
isn't Knobloch supposed to be viewed as that too, though?
I don't know, man. But
I hope he is, or else why else did they hire him? Right? Is he supposed to be one of the brightest minds, like the young guys
Jackson
coming up?
Values him quite a bit. But I don't think they're setting him up to fail, but they put him into a really bad spot. Really bad spot. Like, even J-Mo was fired up on the hangout.
Was he really?
About the firing of Jay Woodcroft. It's just... I don't think they would have given him the extra 2 years on his contract to fit if they're setting him up to fail. Like, they would have Ken Hitchcock this thing.
Interim the rest of the year and then see what happens.
Yeah.
I just got distracted because Craig Button sent myself and Lieutenant Eric a link to a Barstool tweet talking about how Creed 22 years ago gave the halftime show of a generation.
Is that the one where they had the guys
Yeah. But Craig Button just texted that to us, which I just find very entertaining.
Hello, Craig.
Yeah, that's funny. That is pretty good. All right, so we'll see you at Boston Pizza. We will be there. Time to get that pregame show going around 3:30 today. Be there for the entire game, post-game to follow as well. If you are, I know we're going to have this because we're going to do our live watch-along of the Oilers-Capitals game on Friday, right from our sort of main area, the living room, you could call it.
The green room?
Of the, what do we call that out there? Like the main office space?
What
do you call it? Not the lobby? The lobby?
No.
Is that the lobby? The lounge?
Lounge.
EST lounge area.
EST lounge.
We're going to be sitting there watching the game. So Friday's day here at Edmonton Sports Talk is very fascinating. Nielson show, followed by Saturday Night Live draft from 9 to 11. Lock shop from 11 to 12. Pregame starts at noon.
Oh, my God.
Right? Get the pregame in. And then when's puck drop? Is puck drop at 1 o'clock?
1:30.
1:30? Oh, is it 1:30? Okay, so pregame. And then we're going to stream all of us watching the game, so you can kind of watch along with us. And then Tommy have the post game. So that's like a full blown day of coverage on Friday.
What
right
a
here
week!
At Sports Talk. Crazy week, right?
Yeah.
Pretty nuts. Pretty nuts.
How do you think it's gonna go with people? Because Awanik and Eric were setting it up. Like, where are we putting the cameras? Where are we putting the mics?
Yeah.
How do you think that's gonna go? Like, do you think people will enjoy the audio?
I hope awesome.
I hope
have to
so
see.
too.
Like, we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's the first time we've done it. People aren't expecting a masterpiece. We'll get a couple of 3 mics set up. It should be able to pick up all the audio.
Yeah.
And we'll just crank up the mics on the other end.
The sensitivity.
Yeah, and it should be fine.
Because like when Gager or Belzy or even Cass, when we're watching games together, whether it's at a Boston Pizza like it will be this evening, or like Gager shows up and Belzy's here on Saturday and we're watching that Oilers game together with YouTube Trev, like there's always like those little conversations. So do we have to say those little conversations into the mic? I like to jot down notes.
Yeah, we talk about your notes. What little conversations? What are you talking about?
We have what's a good example?
Like non-Oilers related conversations?
Those happen, but mostly in the intermission.
This is what, yeah.
But like say we say a breakdown. I'll go to, which was great the other day because you had a former goalie and a former player.
It's going to be great on Friday.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I saw so-and-so. Was it on him to have gone and taken away the middle, let's say? This is a hypothetical. And then, Belzy would be like, well, did you notice F3 didn't support blah, blah, blah? And then Gager would chime in and be like, hey, if I'm the goalie, I want him to be taking away the shot. I'm not worried about the guy over here.
Well, that's what we want.
Yeah, those are the types of conversations that do happen. So, like, do I have to take a microphone and be like,
no,
hey,
I think we'll have
hello, Joaquin.
We'll have enough mics. We're not hosting. We're just sitting around watching the game.
Yeah, okay.
BS,
okay.
right? So
yeah.
I think it should be pretty good. So make plans to join us on Friday for that game. It should be fun. You can turn it on your TV, and then you can listen along or watch along with us.
Yeah.
Which should be a lot of fun. I think that'll be good. Portions of the Oil Stream, of course, brought to you by our great partners over at Popeyes. This is why I kind of tied it back into that, because I'm ordering all of these wings for the crew on Friday afternoon, because they've got the new 5 wing flavors available right now at Popeyes. They've got the signature hot wing. They've got the honey garlic wing. Love me some honey garlic wings. Honey barbecue. That's honey sweet barbecue sauce.
Oh, that's good.
Roasted garlic parm. Creamy roasted garlic, parsley,
Stinky
and grated
breath after,
Parmesan.
But tasty.
And then the classic ghost pepper. So they've got ghost pepper, roasted garlic, honey barbecue, honey garlic, and signature hot wings. And we're going to have them right here. You can pick them up as well. DoorDash, Skip the Dishes. Uber Eats for the combo 6-piece, $12.99. For the combo 12 wings. Plus the regular side drink and or the medium drink and the regular side, whatever you want, $22. So
okay, may I rank those in how I would
attack
them?
Yeah, do this. I like
honey
that.
barbecue.
Okay,
delicious. That sounds amazing. Honey garlic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. And then what's the Parmesan one? Garlic.
A roasted garlic parm.
Oh, that would be so good. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna have ass breath after.
I'm licking my lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're just around with the boys.
Yeah.
Are you not trying to kiss us on the lips, are you, Tommy?
No, I would never. And then chew a morsel of gum after those.
Yeah. That's what they should do.
And then
if somebody orders the roasted garlic parm, they should give you a pack of chiclets.
That's right. Chiclets are always great. They only last like 7 chews, and then they're done.
All gum only lasts 7 chews.
That's true. And then ghost pepper, I am intrigued by, and I would love, but the problem is that hot, spicy gets like, I turn into Ronald McDonald. Like, my mouth gets all red.
Sometimes when I eat really spicy foods, my nose starts bleeding.
Bleeding?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't eat spicy foods. I think it was, who has the Memphis Kickin' Chicken Sandwich? Is that Boston Pizza?
I'm not sure.
I think it might be Boston Pizza. But yeah, whenever I'd eat that, my nose would bleed. So I don't do the spicy stuff.
Yeah, stay away.
Stay away from that.
You don't need nosebleeds.
So I would rank them honey garlic, honey barbecue, roasted garlic parm, and then signature hot, and then the ghost pepper. I would think.
I admire men and women who just say, bring on the heat, it doesn't affect me, and they down that stuff. Like
YouTube Trev was telling me one time that he had, like, at Hudson's, they had like the hottest wing ever contest.
Yeah.
And he ate them, and he had stomach issues for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like it burned the lining off the inside of his stomach. Like, you got to be careful with some of this stuff, man.
Yes.
Like, it's insane. Why? I don't understand the big, like, oh, I'm going to show you. I'm going to eat the hottest wings of all time.
Not worth it.
Why? What are you trying to do? It can't possibly taste good when it burns the crap out of your mouth and face and inner lining of your stomach.
Quinn Phillips just texted me. Quinn writes, all I can picture is your brother, my brother Paul, profusely sweating with mild spice. My brother, you could put like a pinch of pepper on something.
Come on.
And he starts sweating. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's sad.
It
That's
is
actually
sad.
really sad.
How do you live, man?
That's really sad. All right, Penner's Pancakes is in and says, hey, guys, does Arizona take McLeod and a B-level prospect plus a third for Nick Bugstad?
No.
Do you think anybody wants Ryan McLeod? Tommy's even just thinking about spicy wings, and he's just coughing up a lung here. Because I think. Okay, well let's play this game then. The Oilers.
I have to go.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
All right, Tommy's out of here. Tommy has to go.
It's like in my
Okay. Okay, well, I'll ask you then right now. The oil stream continues. Down 1. We haven't even got the wings from Popeyes yet. And Tommy already had to leave. If the Oilers on this trip only win 1, and at this point, I think that's kind of a possibility. If they come back 1-3 on this trip, they've hit American Thanksgiving. They're second last in the division, and they're closer to the Sharks than they are every other single team in the division. do you think that actually leads to a trade? Because the issue here is that in another situation, if that would have happened, at that point you would have let Woodcroft go, right? You preemptively striked on the coach when I don't think you should have. And now you're in a spot where, okay, well, let's say they, like 3-3 in the first 6 with Knobloch just simply isn't good enough. You were supposed to get that boost that kind of turned things around for you. So if you go 2-4, if you get swept on the rest of this road trip and you come back 2-4, the move at that time, if Jay Woodcroft was still your coach, would have been to fire Jay Woodcroft. That you've taken that arrow out of the quiver and you've shot it and you probably missed your target. The target had a big word on it that said turn season around. You've missed that opportunity. So now what do you do if you come back and you've already fired the coach, the team's still completely out of the mix? I mean, at that point, you either just ride it out and hope McDavid and Draisaitl get insanely hot, or you pull the trigger on a trade. Tommy, how are you doing?
I'm better now. Oh, my God. I was, like, choking on my spit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. My airways are clear now.
If they come back, if they only win one of the next 2 and come back from a 1-3 trip, or they lose both, come back from a 0-4 trip, even if they win both, it's still just a 500 trip, which if they want to get back in the mix, they need better than that, right? So, like when you left, I said they've already made the big move. So if they lay an egg on the rest of this trip, what are you supposed to do at that point? Do you have to pull the trigger on something of significance from a trade perspective?
If you do it, are you just doing? What's the motivation?
I think.
Is it the sake of doing it?
I guess it depends on how the trade turns out.
You perceive you need to do something, or is it actually going to help you? Because if you're doing, because we have a natural inclination to go, well, you got to do something. Look at this. This is a mess, and they've already, proverbially done something by firing the coach, sending the goalie down. They've done something. And then I think if this season's a wash, if they lose these next 2 games, which is entirely possible, you think, okay, how do you improve this team? Do you make a trade? That's the natural instinct. You have to really keep in mind how this said trade would impact you down the road and if it could hurt you more than help you. Like, is it immediate gain for long-term pain? Or can you stay the course and then regroup the next year? You know what I mean? Like, there's people saying, get rid of Nurse,
man. Like,
get rid of this guy. The people that are saying, Draisaitl trade. Like, no.
Somebody texted in here and said, well,
you could fire McLeod out of here, no problem. Yeah, I get that.
Except you have to find
what's that gonna do for you though?
Well, it depends who you get back.
Yeah.
Like if you could get back a veteran center who's committed to defense, that would be a significant upgrade over a guy who's not committed to anything. So, I mean, I think that would probably help, but how much? Like if they get to the point where January, February, March, and April are just riding it out, in Jeff Jackson's first year since he took over. I said it in your postgame show the other night, man, when I was coming in hot in the nasty chat there for a little bit. When your organization is run dysfunctionally at the top, the only thing to expect is dysfunctional results.
Yeah.
That's just how it's worked. Like, look what happened over the last couple of years. There was a general manager in place, made some good trades, made some awful signings. You had a head coach in place that you just let coach. And where did it lead to? It led to winning 3 playoff rounds, over a 2-year stretch. And then this year they bring in a CEO of hockey. Well, what's he do? Is he Ken's Holland boss? They give Paul Coffey more authority, and he's working up here. So you got like this 3-headed monster in here. You know what that is? That's dysfunctional. That's not how operations are supposed to work. All of a sudden, the team gives up on Jay Woodcroft after he took him as far as you could go against the eventual Stanley Cup champion last year, 13 games in. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like dysfunction somewhere along the way. Not only do you get rid of him, but you bring the advisor to the CEO, the guy who brought the CEO in but isn't technically his boss, but he helped get him there. You throw him on the bench. when he says he doesn't even want to. So now you got a group of players who sitting there go, oh, cool, Koff's coach, and even though he doesn't even want to be here. So to me, like, they were being run, not perfectly, but they were being run like an actual NHL organization, which during the decade of darkness, you could say they certainly weren't. And then they got to a point where it looked like they were, and now you're like, what's going on here again? And this is the end result. It has to start, like, somewhere along the way, somebody has to be in charge of all of this.
They've lost their path.
And yes, exactly. They've lost their way right now.
Yeah.
They've lost their way on the ice because I think they've lost their way off the ice. Honestly, that has to be what it is. Because somebody today on the show, I don't know if it might have even been one of our guests, but Wyshynski made a good point. I said, well, do you think there'll be a big trade coming here if they continue? He goes, well, usually the big trade happens before you fire the coach.
Yeah.
Right? You go out, you try to, if you believe in the coach, you say, you know what, we believe in you. Look what you've done the last 2 years here. We're going to make a trade to get you a defenseman so that you'll be able to protect Bouchard in some spots and still use him offensively, but have somebody else there in some key defensive moments. Instead, they just got him and then basically set themselves back 2 years by bringing in a guy who had the same amount of experience that the other guy had when you brought him in 2 years earlier. So even that's dysfunctional. So I don't know why you would expect any other results when it's unraveling above the roster, let alone the issues on the roster. I think. I mean, I don't know. That's because when people go, you'll see people go, what's going on in that room? Like, how has this happened? And I think you can say that for the entire sort of management group now, which is something that happens for so long with the group. But it looked like they got out of it, right? They had a head coach. They had success with this head coach. They had a general manager who you knew was the guy that was calling the shots. And then people start putting their fingers in things. And yada, yada, yada. You're the third worst team in the National Hockey League with the 2 best players in the world. And they're not even producing at the level they usually produce at. Which is just insane. If you want more on this conversation, come by Boston Pizza today. Because I got a lot more I'll say in an uncensored version later today at Boston Pizza.
With a Belgian moon in his
Yes,
hand.
exactly. I will. All right, so what happens? What are you expecting tonight, buddy?
I expect the unexpected. The Oilers are going to crush the Carolina Hurricanes 5-0 because it goes completely in the face of all the momentum that the Oilers don't have. Honestly, they should not win this game this evening. Carolina should have their way with the Edmonton Oilers. They know that the Oilers are vulnerable. They know that the Oilers are a couple of shifts away from breaking in a game. But Edmonton, for whatever reason, anytime you think they're going to do one thing, they do the complete opposite. So I'm going to say they're going to win 5-0. They're going to play an immaculate game. Stuart Skinner's going to stand on his head. And I say this fully expecting the complete opposite to happen.
They have not, and this comes back around to another question, 5 wins this year. 2 against Seattle, non-playoff team. 1 against the Islanders, non-playoff team. 1 against the Preds, non-playoff team. 1 against the Flames, non-playoff team.
Correct.
They have not beaten a good hockey team yet this season. We're almost 2 months in. So tonight would be a first for the 2023-24 Edmonton Oilers by actually beating a legitimate, good NHL hockey team.
Yeah.
They haven't done that yet. I'm not sure why we would expect them to do that tonight.
Right. Lars texts in via Nasty Chat, says, Tommy given up yet? I don't know if I've given up. I mean, I ripped them pretty good after that San Jose loss. That's, I think, the straw that broke the camel's back. I'd like to be wrong, Lars, honestly.
Sorry, which one broke the back?
The San Jose.
Oh, the San Jose one.
Yeah, the 3-game winning streak was nice, but it didn't do much for them, honestly, and that they barely won that second Seattle game. Probably shouldn't have won it. Given up, I wouldn't term it as given up. I don't have faith in this group at all. I think they're lost as much as the management team is lost. We have a job to do regardless. If they pull this somehow pull this out, I would be pleasantly surprised. But given up, I don't know if that's the right term for it.
They basically have to play as good as they did for the entirety of last season and probably even a little bit better to make the playoffs this year, right? The good thing that they have for them is that like I'd say there's 6 or 7 really good teams in the conference, but there's 8 playoff spots. So there's there's a wild card or spot or 2 that'll just kind of be sitting there. Yeah. They're not getting a divisional spot. The Kings are too good. The Golden Knights are too good. The Canucks have been too good. We'll see if that continues, but that's even a huge hill to climb for the Oilers at this point. This text is in today, no name on it. Our lines are a dog's breakfast, and McDavid is 26. Yeah, but they don't have to be. I mean, you could, like, they could just leave them together and see how it works. Like, just play Kane with McDavid and Hyman, play Nuge with Draisaitl and Brown, and leave it. Just leave it. But they won't. Neither coach would.
Well, it's Chris Knobloch 2-2 as Oilers head coach, by the way. The first couple of games, and I remember again last week, some of the discussion with Chris Knobloch and the players was, hey, isn't it nice like playing on the same line with the same guys for more than a game in a row or 2 games in a row? And that was a discussion. But by the end of that night, the lines had been shuffled up again.
No coach for, when was it? When Tippett kept that Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamo line together.
For like 20 games, right?
For like 25 games, but didn't put them back together until the end of that series they lost to the Hawks.
Right, and it was
and they
people
scored
were clamoring
right after, too.
for it. Like, get those guys back together. And
but
finally did it.
Since then, like no coach has been able to leave lines together for more than 10 games. And
10
that's a
games?
stretch. That's a stretch.
How about 3 games?
So what, like, I don't get it. Is that the makeup of the players? That you just can't, like, you don't trust them to develop chemistry with some line mates?
I don't know, man.
It doesn't.
I don't think that's the case. I just think that there's that option to go to McDavid Draisaitl all the time. That well, man.
But the well has come up dry this year. Over and over again. It still didn't win, though. They're not winning. They're not winning with them together.
No.
I mean, the one goal. Well, 2 of the goals. I mean, how many goals was Draisaitl on for against? Like, this team has a mindset where like they're like, oh, we want to play defensively. No, you don't. You don't. Anytime the puck, there was the one play. I'm pretty sure it was Ekholm who got the puck. It's the one that hit Hyman in the back and stayed in the zone. Do you see who he was trying to get that puck to?
Someone that was cherry picking.
It was Leon Draisaitl behind both defensemen.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the mindset that you're supposed to have where you're trying stretch passes up the middle of the ice because one of your forwards is snuck in behind the D.
Leon was dashed too the other night.
On the other one, it wasn't on him, but it just showed the mindset where they came back into the zone and he was with the puck carrier. It was the 4th goal. He was with the puck carrier, and then the puck kind of went down into the corner, and Leon sort of just circled back up. Mm-hmm. And then there was the mad scramble, and Bouchard swooped in front of the net, and they ended up banging it in. Yeah, they end up banging it in. It's just like their mindset is always, got to go this way, got to go this way, got to go with this. Their priority is never to keep the puck out of their own net, ever. Like, and they can say, oh, we're trying. You're not. They're not. Like, get the puck, flip it out. Instead, it's like, get the puck, make 9 moves. Oh, turn the puck over. It's in the back of the net. Like, until they actually commit to a mindset of keeping the puck out of their own net, it's just not going to happen. It's the same thing over and over and over again.
I want to drive a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But I drive an elegant sedan instead.
But that's who you are.
Yeah.
You're an elegant sedan driver, right? Like,
I love it.
My buddy said, hey, are you using the bow and arrow analogy because Tommy is a bow hunting show host? That's for my buddy Tanel down in Lethbridge.
Yes.
Is that, maybe that's why I didn't mean to, but it was in my mind.
I appreciate that.
Somebody else, I think it was surveyor Brandon Nasty Chat, says, does Tommy still reek of deer urine?
It's doe estrus.
Oh, sorry, doe estrus. Which is deer pee?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Did they spray that on you for the
last
night show?
They don't. We have some in studio though.
Like a bottle of it?
Yeah.
Do you ever spray the boys as a hilarious hunting joke?
I don't even want to.
Oh,
that's nasty.
Where can people find
Bowzone
Live? Yeah. So this is just bow hunting.
Yeah,
I guess it's not called Gun Zone Live.
No, it's not Gun Zone Live.
I never realized. I never put that together. There's only bow hunting.
Yeah, Bows on Live. We are back tomorrow night on Wild TV at 7 p.m. live. We had a great episode yesterday. Ryan Kohler was in studio as my co-host. We had Joel Turner on. He is like the premier archer / trainer for snipers in the military in the world. Like
What?
He's trained like 8,000 shooters.
Snipers for military.
Military.
But he
and
bow
then-
hunts.
But he's a bow hunter. His son, I
Damn.
believe, is like the #1 ranked archer in the world, if I'm not mistaken.
What?
Yeah, so like this, it's a pretty cool. Jason Moss is one of our hunters. Louis DeBrusque is one of our hunters. Tomorrow's show, we've got Michelle Van Dam and Heather Wilson.
Okay.
They've got a couple of bucks down, which is great.
What?
Yeah, I've
Do you
learned a
see
lot
that?
about
Do you
hunting.
see pictures of the bucks that they've got and stuff on the
You
show?
see the video
must.
of the hunt.
What?
Yeah, these
Seriously?
hunters do a great job.
How long does the video go for the hunt?
It depends on how much footage they get.
So then do you guys break down the certain moments of the hunt and stuff?
Yeah, we show it and then we talk about it in studio. It's really cool, actually. I have never hunted in my life.
Yeah.
I readily admit
You're a
that.
host.
This is season 4 where I've hosted, and I love it. It's fun. It's fascinating. The meat, they harvest as much. They use as much of the animal as they can. It's neat. So we're into season 4, episode 4 tomorrow, back Sunday, and then we wrap the season closes at the end of November. So we're hoping maybe Jason Moss comes in with the Grey Cup in studio.
That would be cool.
It would be great.
Would you try to shoot it with a bow and arrow?
No, because you would pierce it. Like these
Not if you
things-
shot it right through the handle.
Oh, I don't. I can't. Don't.
Do you think a bow and arrow could pierce the Grey Cup?
Yes.
Wow, that must hurt.
Well, it
The
does.
Grey Cup's metal.
It kills like 500-pound deers. So yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the outside of a deer is not that hard, right? Like,
You're Mr. 4-H, and I'm describing this stuff to you.
well, I think it would be different shooting an arrow through deer skin as opposed to like a hard metal case.
It's
you
a
know?
tin silver case.
Well, that makes me sad about the Grey Cup then.
It's a lovely trophy.
I don't want you guys to shoot it.
We would not shoot it.
It's a great
Not
trophy.
chance.
It takes a lot to win.
Anyway, yeah, it's there is doe estrus
Okay.
in there.
And then they spray that so that bucks come around.
They put it on
a
like
bunch
branches.
of horny bucks.
Yeah.
And then they shoot them.
Yeah, and then they put it in scrapes and stuff because basically the bucks mark their territory.
Okay.
And they're chasing does right now.
All right.
So the ruts
I love deer hunting,
Yeah.
Tommy. I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing.
it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
that's tomorrow night? The
tomorrow
next
night
Goes
at
Online?
7 on Wild
All right,
TV.
perfect.
Yeah.
You can check that out. Tonight you can join us 3:30 pregame with Tommy, Kingsway Boston Pizza. We'll stick around, watch the game, post game as well. Cass is going to be there pre and post. And Bell's going to pop by.
Yep.
Gage is going to be there. Lieutenant Eric, YouTube Chad's going to be by. Maddie, myself, and a lot of AM Nasty should be in there as well. $5 off those medium pizza. Smitty the Welder says, listening to two guys that don't hunt talk about hunting. Yeah, I mean,
Dave texted in on the Nast chat, Tommy, you wouldn't last out there. I know. I know. Basically,
I shot myself again.
basically what happened is Mike Bealey, who did Oil Change, remember Oil Change for all those years? He's the director, producer of this show, and he's like, I need a host, and he thought of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never hunted. And he goes, that's fine. Just smile, get us in and out of commercials, and I'll feed you questions. That's what he did the first year or two. Now, like, I'm watching. I've gotten to know, and I talk to them. So they want to get me into a tree stand. I'll do it at some point. It would be funny. It would obviously be like a comical bit. But it is a really neat show, and I appreciate what they do and how they go about their business because it's like a chess match, man. Those bucks, they're smart. I digress.
Hey, as it gets chillier out there, one thing you're going to want to do is you're probably going to go do some golfing, and you can't do it anywhere else. So get it done at One Putt Virtual Golf. This is a complete opposite twist to what we were just talking about with the hunting. But instead of going up in a tree stand for 4 hours, how long do you stay in a tree stand for? Do you know?
Some of them are there like all day.
12 hours.
I think, yeah, depending on like the weather and their gear and stuff.
You get almost 3 rounds in.
Yeah.
3 rounds in at One Putt Virtual Golf. One Putt's hosting a 4-man cash scramble that is running now until December 15th using TrackMan technology. $400 per team. It includes 9 hours of golf. That's insane.
Yeah.
Your team can play any day, whatever fits your sched. It's perfect. And One Putt is guaranteeing a $1,000 prize pool regardless of the number of entrants. So you can sign up right now. Sign up officially closes on November 30th. And you can play anytime before December 15th. Get your score in the mix and possibly win up to $1,000. More info on how to sign up, you just go to www.oneputt.ca/scramble or follow them at OnePuttYag on Instagram. We'll dive into that a little bit more coming up on Friday. We'll start pregame on Friday at noon. Friday's a big day here.
Oh, boy.
That'll be nice. All right, that is going to do it for us for One Putt, for Popeyes, for Boston Pizza, and, of course, CoolBet, who all support the Oil Stream. Thank you very much for joining us. Tommy, you're going to have a shower, get rid of that dough estrage or whatever it's called. Estrus. And we'll see you down at Boston Pizza, all right? Talk to you guys a little bit later on today.